Can I use gallery now? What is this weed that's growing in my lawn? And when is the best time to trim my holly bushes? I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, folks, we have been really busy this past week getting numerous emails from customers with, again, just questions about your lawn, questions about killing weeds. And now we're starting to get into a time of year where we're starting to collect a lot of emails regarding pruning trees, pruning bushes, things like that. So we've actually selected 5 questions here today to address on this week's video podcast. So buckle up, everybody. Let's jump right in. The first question is from Steve. Good morning, Tim. Is this the right time to use Turf Trust broadleaf weed control with gallery? So as long as you have not overseeded your grass in the last couple of weeks, then yes, you can absolutely put down gallery right now. In fact, we'd highly recommend you not wait until that mid-November timeframe to get it down. Folks, remember, in terms of our lawn calendar, we talk about putting gallery down in that early to mid-November timeframe because we're assuming that most of our clients are overseeding their lawn because so many do it on an annual basis. Now, if that's not you and you have not overseeded, then frankly, anytime between like the end of August all the way up through that mid-November timeframe, you can put down gallery. And the fact is, the earlier you do it in that window, the better. Because again, once we get into September and obviously October, a lot of these broadleaf weeds actually start dropping seeds, and we're trying to prevent those seeds from, getting into the soil, from germinating. And so that's really what that fall application of gallery is all about. So again, if you have not overseeded, go ahead and get it down right now. And obviously, the Turf Trust broadleaf weed control with gallery is available over at rosensonline.com. The next question is from Karen. Tim, I've got this invading my lawn. What would be the best weed killer to apply? I have a new bottle of Speed Zone. Hey Karen, thank you for sending in a picture. So this is nutsedge, and unfortunately, Speed Zone is not going to do anything to it. Speed Zone is a great product. We used to sell a lot of it until we transitioned away to a couple of other products that we prefer, but Speed Zone is a really good product for broadleaf weeds. Unfortunately, this is not a broadleaf weed. It's a type of grassy weed, and so you need something that's going to attack the grassy weed side of things, and unfortunately, Speed Zone is not it. I would actually recommend the new product that we've been talking a lot here on this program, and that's Image All-in-One Weed Killer. Again, it takes care of a lot of broadleaf weeds, but it also takes care of crabgrass, it takes care of Japanese stiltgrass, and it takes care of your sedges and your nutsedge. So head over to Rosens Online, pick up a bottle of Image All-in-One Weed Killer. It's a great product, and it'll take care of the nutsedge that you have in your lawn right now. The third question is from Ken. Tim, I have 2 holly bushes that are over 10 feet tall. They are shaped like a Christmas tree from the ground up. I want to trim them down to about 8 feet. When would be the best time of year to do this? So if you're just doing some light pruning, some general maintenance, you can actually prune holly bushes in the early spring. The best time to do it in terms of protecting your berry production would actually be once the blooms fall off and you actually start to see the berry production. That way, when you're pruning, you can actually, not prune off a bunch of branches that are producing the berries. So again, if you're doing light pruning, that would be the best time. What you're talking about is pretty substantial. And so what you want to actually do is wait until the bush has gone completely dormant, which means wintertime. Once it goes dormant, you can safely prune off that 2 feet that we're talking about, and the bushes will be just fine. Now, I do want to warn you that by pruning it back that much, your berry production next year is definitely going to be less. So as long as you're okay with that and you understand that, then absolutely wait until the winter time. Again, it can be early winter. Just as long as that bush has gone dormant, you're going to be just fine to go ahead and start pruning it back. The fourth question for today is from Ivan. Hello, Tim. I overseeded my lawn about a month ago, and I have these clumps of a different type of grass growing in my yard. I think I was told it's Dallas grass. Is there any way to suppress it or get rid of it? So it's a little difficult to tell from the picture, but assuming that it is Dallas grass, then the good news is it's relatively easy to control and to kill. The good news is, in terms of the products that you should use, typically any weed killer that will also kill crabgrass can help you control the Dallas grass, because the characteristics between Dallas grass and crabgrass are so incredibly similar that one type of product that kills one is absolutely going to kill the other. Now, they're not the same, but again, that's the general industry consensus. And so we've historically just recommended any type of product that's going to kill crabgrass to go ahead and use on Dallas grass. So you could head over to Rosen's Online. We have something real basic like a crabby rad that's actually really effective against crabgrass and will certainly work on this Dallas grass. I'd also recommend that you try Image All-in-One Weed Killer. We have been talking about it a lot on the last 4 or 5 weeks on this program because of how effective it is at not only killing broadleaf weeds, but at killing things like Japanese stiltgrass, crabgrass, and obviously from the question earlier today, nutsedge. So head over to Rosen's Online. Again, if it effectively kills crabgrass, then it should work really, really well on your Dallas grass. The final question for today is from Anne Marie. Hi Tim, I am reseeding my lawn and following the new steps. My question is with the kickstart. You recommend to apply for 4 weeks. I have many leaves that come on my lawn. How can I remove the leaves before applying the kickstart without also removing the seeds and all the other stuff? So truthfully, this is a little bit of a judgment call on your part in terms of what you want to do relative to applying kickstart. Now, you mentioned that you use the new process that we've been talking about for the last 6-7 weeks here on this program, and we're really, really glad that you are using that process. We think it's a superior process for overseeding your lawn. Now, part of that process requires you to scalp your lawn and then use those clippings as a covering for the grass seed in place of something like an easy straw, anything like that. So obviously you don't want to rake that off. You don't want to use a leaf blower to get the leaves off of your grass because that protective covering could blow away with it. It's going to get raked up with it. So I'm really glad that you thought through that part of the process and recognize that that's not the best option. However, at some point, that seed is going to get worked into the soil and that covering no longer matters. So the first thing I would do is I would look at the ground and I would say, hey, do I have any of this new grass starting to come up? Am I still visibly able to see any of the seed on the soil surface if you kind of, poke through that protective layer of the weeds and grass when you scalped your lawn? So if you're not seeing any of the seed and you're starting to see that grass come up, then that protective layer has done its job. And in terms of cleaning up the leaves, you can go ahead and blow the leaves off so that way you can apply kickstart. Now, I understand that if you're very early in the process and you can still visibly see the seed, you can't do that. So this is really where it's a judgment call on your part. You can either just put down kickstart and hope that as it rolls off of the leaves, it's going to work its way into the soil and the grass is still going to get the benefit from the product, or you can just wait. Again, kickstart is one of those products that you can use weekly anytime the plant is growing. So as long as the grass hasn't gone dormant and as long as the ground is not frozen, you can safely and effectively use kickstart. So if that leaf covering has just gotten too thick and you are also not seeing any of the grass popping up, then just don't use kickstart. Just leave it alone. Wait until that grass starts to come in. And then as you leaf blow off or rake off the leaves and you get away some of that, again, that protective layer of weeds and grass, when you scalp the lawn, then you can go ahead and apply kickstart. So maybe instead of, 4 weeks and you're starting on week 1 and going through week 4 and putting down kickstart, there's nothing that says you can't start on weeks 2 or 3 and then go to weeks 6 or 7 in terms of the time frame that you want to put down kickstart. So I appreciate the question. It's a really, really good question, but just remember, kickstart is so versatile. As long as the ground isn't frozen and as long as that grass is growing, it can take advantage of not only the nutrition that Kickstart provides, but the root system is really going to benefit and allow it to soak up things like that turf trust and any of those minerals that are found naturally in your soil. That's what Kickstart is really about. Obviously, it's incredibly effective to strengthen the root system for a new lawn, but if you have to wait a couple of weeks to start putting it down simply because of the leaf cover, don't even sweat it. Wait it out. I will say this though, based on the picture that you sent me, I would have no issues putting down Kickstart. There's definitely enough grass there that's not covered by leaves to go ahead and put it down. But I understand that you sent this in a couple of days ago, and by the time that you're hearing this response, there may be even more leaves. So just use your best judgment. You want to push off using Kickstart for a couple of weeks, you're totally okay to do so. All right, everybody, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, we still have the fall feeding frenzy going on over at rosensonline.com. So make sure you head over there and pick up the Turf Trust fertilizer bundle that you need for your lawn. Again, now's the time to get that third feeding, and frankly, in another, call it month to 6 weeks, you're also going to want to put down that fourth feeding of Turf Trust as well. So if you haven't taken advantage, we're going to run this promotion for a couple of more weeks. Make sure you head over to rosensonline.com right now. Take advantage of the savings on the product as well as the free shipping. Folks, as I just mentioned in the previous question, you can continue to use Kickstart right up until the ground freezes and or the plant stops growing. So again, whether you're using it for your lawn, you're using it for your trees or for your shrubs, or maybe you're more concerned about your indoor plants at this point, Kickstart is a really, really valuable product to continue to apply on a weekly or at the very least a monthly basis. So head over to rosensonline.com, pick up a couple of bottles. We also sell it by the case. It's a great product. We sell a ton of it. So again, make sure that you're just thinking ahead long term. Hey, if you're going to really be applying this to all of your trees, your grass, and you're going to do this a lot, picking it up by the case is certainly the more economical way to go. Folks, we continue to get a lot of emails from you, and we really, really appreciate it because those emails are really what this show is built around. So if you have questions, please send them directly to tim@rosensonline.com. I read every single email that comes through that inbox, and if I receive it, I promise that I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Folks, I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. Thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us today. God bless.